every town began its tracking. It has included these dubious examples. In August 2013, a man shot on a Tennessee high school's property at 2 a.m. In December 2014, a man shot in his car late one night and discovered the next day in a Pennsylvania elementary school's parking lot. In August 2015, a man who climbed atop the roof of an empty Texas school on a Sunday morning and fired sporadically. In January 2016, a man in an Indiana high school parking lot whose gun accidentally went off in his glove box before any students had arrived on campus. In December 2017, two teens in Washington state who shot up a high school just before midnight on New Year's Eve, when the building was otherwise empty. As per the 18 school shootings in 2018 claim, the Post says, just 5 of every town's 18 school shootings listed for 2018 happened during school hours and resulted in any physical injury. 3 others appear to be intentional shootings, but did not hurt
Florida
anyone.
Governor Scott is a featured speaker at this year's No Leadership Forum.
One carried by a
This is
school
a huge
police
double-fisted
officer
boot to
and the other
Floridians,
by a
as those
licensed
grieving the
peace
loss of loved
officer
ones in
who
the
ran a
Parkland
college
massacre.
club
None
that were
radicals
unintentionally fired at,
terrorist
again,
organization.
led to no injuries. At least 7 of every town's 18 shootings took place outside normal school hours. 17 people were killed in the shooting in Florida, which occurred on
Former Trump
Valentine's
campaign
Day
official
this
case
week.
is about to reach
What
a
do
plea
you
deal
think
with
about
Special
this?
Counsel Robert S. Mueller.
Please share this news and scroll down the comment below. Subscribe.
Sırbistan'dan 10 yıl önce ayrılan ve tek taraflı olarak bağımsızlığını ilan eden Avrupa'nın en genç ülkesi Kosova 10. yılını
I am
coşkuyla
educating, not
kutladı.
isolating my 11-year-old on gun safety rules, gun laws and how to protect ourselves if ever faced with a threat to another.
Başkent Priştine'de asker ve polislerin katılımıyla düzenlenen resmi geçit töreni büyük ilgi gördü.
At David Runts,
Kutlamalara
at Bream's
Kosova
Tilt,
Devlet
at
Başkanı
Tumult.
Haşim Taçi ve
My
bazı
favorite
dış
thing that happened
ülkelerden
on TV today
temsilciler
was at
katıldı.
Bream's Tilt threatened that a Fox News person would spin that at Tumult she compared Russian election interference to Pearl Harbor after she compared Russian election interference to Pearl Harbor.
Franklin D. Roosevelt, after Pearl Harbor, had gotten on the radio and said that Tokyo was laughing at us, to use a little less crude phrase than he did. That is not
Kosova
what is
Cumhuriyeti'nde
called
devlet başkanı olarak en kısa zamanda yeni bir ordu kurmaya kararlıyım.
Someone on Fox News is going to take what you just said. They're going to say, how do you compare this to Pearl
Öte
Harbor?
yandan Kosova Meclisi de ülkenin bağımsızlığını kutlamak için özel bir gündemle toplandı. Kutlamaya katılan Arnavutluk Başbakanı Ederama mecliste yaptığı konuşmada 20 yıl öncesinde Kosova'nın bağımsızlığının bir ütopya olduğunu, ancak bugün 115 ülkenin bu yeni devleti tanıdığını söyledi. Belgrad'da öğrencilerle buluşan Sırbistan Cumhurbaşkanı Aleksandar Vučić ise yaptığı açıklamada ılımlı mesajlar verdi.
At the quarterly replying, at reusing to again what criticism of your idea you already said it was a fair take then followed it up with an salty after reading a tweet that wasn't even directed at you. Sounds to me like your opinion is retarded, but feel free to have it. At Stockmonster Vib, just how long was the Obama admin in cahoots? W Russia. The video of Barack Obama caught colluding with Russia now making more sense than ever before. Putin's puppet Obama gate.
Jeff Sessions is about to turn Robert Mueller's investigation upside down. The Russia collusion investigation
Frederick
is
County,
a crusade
Maryland,
to drive
the
Donald
father of a
Trump
teen
from
student to
office.
authorities. They was plotting a
Special
mass shooting at
Counsel
Cat
Robert
Upton High
Mueller
School
was
in FR.
appointed to dig up evidence to use in order to impeach the president. But Attorney General Jeff Sessions is about to turn the investigation upside down. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley has found evidence of the crime. He fired off a letter to the Justice Department
At Sean
that laid out
Spicier.
his belief
Lamau.
that Christopher Steele had lied to the FBI about his contacts with reporters, and that
At
Clinton
House of
family
the at Kathleen Morris,
Cody
Kathleen
Shearer
Morris,
and
let us just
Obama
focus on
still
doing our jobs,
official
on the
job
people of
is
this country, and especially the forgotten men and women that are wanting a better life.
This morning, we've had
The
a
Daily
big conversation
Caller
over just the past couple
reports
days in the markets here
there is
about
substantial
potential for
evidence
inflation.
suggesting
There's
that
a
Mr.
conversation
Steele
about how tax
materially
reform
misled
is actually
the
been a
FBI
short-term,
about a key
will be a short-term
aspect of his
stimulus,
dossier
effectively
efforts, one
overstimulate
which
the market.
bears
What do you
on
make of
his
all these arguments?
credibility.
Well,
Grant
you know,
and Grassley
I'm
wrote to
hopeful.
Ray
I'm
and
very
Rosenstein.
encouraged by the impact of tax
Much
reform
of their
already.
letter
You know, some said it
refers
was
to
going to be
Steele's
Armageddon. It's
contacts with
clearly
media
been a
outlets prior
positive.
to
The
the
reports, individuals right now
2016
this month that
election.
are seeing their
Steele has
paychecks
disclosed in court
more take-home
filings
pay.
in London
The
that
long
he
list of
held off
companies
the
that have
record
been,
meetings with reporters at
adding those
several
bonuses
news
and,
outlets prior to
announcing
the election.
more better leave
The
policies.
Grassley-Gran
Higher
referral
wages. I mean,
suggests that
that's a
Steele
positive,
misled
and we
the
needed that for our
FBI about
economy.
contacts
And
he
our
had
hope
with
is that this is
reporters
just the beginning, that it continues. I've talked to a number of businesses, small and large, who are still making their plans, but this gives them more confidence that we needed, that our economy needed. So that there would be a longer-term economic growth for America, more opportunities, really getting at the forgotten men and women of this country who want a better life.
I don't know if you saw this. We have conversation on this show all the time about carried interest. We've not talked about it this morning, but a number of hedge funds. Did you see this story yesterday? Have been moving to Delaware to try to capture basically a 20% rate. Some guys from Elliott Management and other places. Actually, our friend Mr. Sternlicht is doing this, trying to do this too. Okay. Mnuchin says that he's going to try to cut this out somehow. But how worried are you about people trying to find new loopholes and effectively abuse the new system?
Right. Well, clearly our tax code is very large, it's very complicated. Our goal going into tax reform was that we would simplify the tax code, that we would close many loopholes, that we would really ensure that lower middle income Americans were benefiting, seeing those larger paychecks. Now, there's going to be issues that arise, and there's been others concerns or areas within the tax reform package that need to be addressed. So we're going to keep our eyes on it. No bill is ever perfect, but we'll continue to look at this, and this will just be the beginning of continuing to ensure that we have a tax code that is really focused on people, and a tax code that is fair, that is simple, that is not a burden, whether you're an individual or a business in this country. We want people to be pursuing their dreams, and that was our goal with this bill.
Congresswoman, in the wake of the bipartisan budget deal last week, House Speaker Paul Ryan said that fiscal discipline would have to be part of the conversation going forward. But when and how do you see that becoming part of the conversation? Where does that come up in the agenda?
Right. Well, fiscal discipline it's fundamental. We have a responsibility as the elected representatives of the people.
Former Trump campaign official Rick Gates is about to reach a plea deal with Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III. At Devil's Tour. For those of you hanking for some realistic irony, the featured speaker at the upcoming New Leadership Forum is Florida Governor Rick Scott. At Tim Tebow. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6.
President Trump trolls little Adam Schiff. the leaking monster after Mueller's indictment reveals Russians began interference operation in 2014 by Christina Layla for thegatewaypundit.com. On Friday, the Office of Special Counsel Robert Mueller announced that a grand jury indicted 13 Russian nationals along with 3 Russian entities accused of supporting the presidential campaign of then-candidate Donald J. Trump and disparaging Hillary Clinton. The 37-page indictment was a big, fat nothing burger. Meanwhile, we're being charged for that, mind you. Not only was Mueller's indictment of 13 Russian completely pathetic, it revealed that these Russians started organizing their campaign in 2014, well before Donald Trump became president. Ranking member of the House Intel Committee and suspected leaker, Adam Schiff, called out Obama on Sunday for not acknowledging the Russian interference sooner. Yeah, God forbid Hillary didn't win, right? On Sunday, Adam Schiff said on CNN, State of the Union, at the time, we could get the Obama administration to acknowledge the Russian interference, stating Obama's response was not sufficient.
Theresa May calls for a security agreement. News DW 17.2018.
Said none of that is an excuse for this president to sit on his hands. It is inexplicable for the President of the United States to sit on sanctions that Congress passed. President Trump unleashed a tweet storm on Sunday and dedicated a couple of tweets
actors call for movement and sexual misconduct. News DW 18.2018.
Okay, the leaking monster of no
Video
control.
cleaning up Paris Estmadi riverbanks after the floods. Prince 24.
Finally, little Adam Schiff, the leaking monster of no control, is now blaming the Obama administration for Russian meddling in the 2016 election. He is finally right about something. Obama was president, knew of the threat, and did nothing. Thank
Olympics
you, Adam.
2018 commentators should up a chit-chat and just explain the sport wired.
Hillary Clinton. Now that Adam Schiff is starting to blame President Obama for Russian meddling in the election, he is probably doing so as yet another excuse that the Democrats, lead by their fearless leader, crooked Hillary Clinton, lost the 2016
Ethiopia
election.
declares state of emergency after PMS resignation. Prince 24.
So true, so true. You know, I'm getting sick of these people.
Munich Security Conference, Europe's elusive common security policy. News DW 17.2018.
Too much. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.
Consumers are increasingly opting for
Russian troll shares training process for U.S. election interference.
Data predicting that the natural and organic beauty market's value will have almost doubled by 2024. And it's smaller companies that are leading the way. Lifestyle bloggers Elsie Rutherford and Dominika Minarovic run natural brand By Bee Beauty.
We were really thinking about what we're putting into our bodies, scrutinizing food labels and really turning
What is up with those Pentagon UFO videos, wired?
We'd never stopped to think about what we were putting onto our bodies. And so for us, we started to think, could we start to apply the same rule of thumb that we were with our food to our beauty products? As consumers,
Israeli forces strike Gaza, kill 2 after security soldiers are in U.S. elusive common security policy. News DW 17.2018.
Ethics and made really great products using really wonderful natural ingredients. but that felt like a beauty product and didn't necessarily just feel like a health product, because we felt like we were compromising on, in a way, the
Syria 2018, the major issues for the year ahead. Syria deeply.
And we felt that that doesn't have to be the case.
After initially making natural skincare products as a hobby in their kitchen, Elsie and Dominica moved into professional production.
We started retailing our products mainly online. We've since secured a number of deals with the UK's and actually the internationally biggest online retailers, as well as a number of department stores.
As well as being sold by major retailers, their products are also stocked at Le Fix in central London, an independent shop and beauty bar specialising in natural products and toxic-free treatments.
When I started the concept, I was very aware that we are disrupting the industry and we have to prove that natural products are not only pure and toxic-free.
Swan song of the central bankers. Part 5 of Flatline does not spell recovery zero hedge.
Go onto our shelves, I was very much inspired by a lot of female entrepreneurship, like-minded individuals that wanted to make a difference and wanted to supply an effective product that would really go beyond.
Israeli archaeologists in North Roman Air Mosaic News DWO 2.2018
altogether.
Among the other brands on sale at Le Fix is By Sarah London, which is trying something new with its packaging.
We're pioneering upfront labeling, which means we are detailing a full ingredient list on the front of each of our products. So this is something that's very, very new in the UK market, and we're really trying to make a real shift, disrupt the market and make it easier for people to understand what they're putting on their skin.
Sarah began her career working for one of the world's largest beauty companies before setting up her brand.
More and more customers are demanding ethical transparency behind supply chain.
Video fleeing ethnic strife. Congolese refugees seek haven on Ugandan shores. France 24.
And it was at that moment that I acknowledged that there really was a gap in the market to bring greater transparency to the marketplace and also a level of authenticity.
But despite the transparency, there are still misconceptions about the performance of natural beauty products. Elixiri is a 100% natural brand that launched in January 2018 after 3 years in development.
I think that historically people have found that natural products maybe don't give you the same results and they don't necessarily have faith in the
Syrian doctor building an underground hospital for women in Syria deeply.
Away from that, and natural brands are really proving that they're using science in their
Romney
products.
Officially announces Senator-elect Jones info hours there is a war on for your mind.
The problem with natural products is that they don't always feel beautiful to use. So we were very, very insistent that we wanted amazing textures and amazing scents. It's often hard to get that without the use of chemical preservatives and chemical substances, and we are adamant that we will never do that. So it's a lot of trial and error to get the textures right.
Like with many trends and brands,
Bart Whittaker father has pleaded to save son who plotted own family as murder.
The natural beauty movement's success.
Social media has been crucial in the development of both of our brands, and we're seeing it really change the beauty industry actually, because what's happening now is suddenly there's a two-way point of communication, and I think the consumer is really relishing that because suddenly it makes you feel like you're part of that brand, and we've really benefited from that.
Small startups and kind of savvy entrepreneurs can offer so much innovation in this space. I think the consumer is definitely demanding transparency across the board. That stems from ingredients and being able to understand beauty labels and understand...
Nigerian cinema fans celebrate Black Panther release.
But also that extends through to where the packaging is sourced, where the products are made, sustainability, and even knowing who owns the brand and who's behind the brand.
Hi, I'm Arjun Karpworth. Thanks for watching The Edge. To check out more online videos, just click on the boxes and don't forget to subscribe to the CNBC Live channel right here at the bottom of the screen.
Russian mercenaries, a discreet weapon in Syria. Passenger plane crashes in southern Iran with 66 aboard, France 24. UN Council was condemning Iran over Yemen's fish-getting missiles. In Florida aftermath, Colin students say never again. ABC Florida The New Yorker. The Great Bear Market of 2018 Zero Edge. School shooting survivors claim nationwide march for our lives.
The U.S. Air Force is preparing to start mothballing the B-2 Spirit and B-1B Lancer fleets in preparation for the next generation stealth bomber, the B-21 Raider, according to Aviation Week. The nuclear-capable B-2 stealth bomber and conventional B-1B supersonic bomber fleets will ultimately be retired to free up funds to support the B-21 program, which is expected to field the first aircraft in the mid-2020s. The preparations to retire B-2S and B-1Bs will be officially released February 12th in the White House's budget request for fiscal year 2019. Congress has ultimate power to control spending, so the budget request will be subject to legislative approval. The Air Force ultimately plans to purchase a fleet of 100 B-21s with a total price tag of $80 billion for the jets and supporting equipment. Little is currently known about the new bomber's design other than the fact that it will feature the latest stealth technologies and be optimized to penetrate deep into enemy territory undetected. A concept image of the Raider released in early 2016 shows a similar design to the B-2, suggesting the new bomber will be an upgraded B-2 design that allows for the use of mature systems and existing technology, according to an Air Force statement. While the Air Force plans to retire B-2...
Let's take a look around. Found this nugget. Check this. We've compiled our best coverage of the biggest issues in Syria this year, from safe zones and increasing foreign involvement to new avenues for pursuing justice, and the impact of Syria's war economy. What is up with those Pentagon UFO videos? Bar wired. Wow, check out what's going on. On December 17, 2017, a newspaper printed a story titled "Real UFOs. Pentagon unit tried to no." The headline wasn't surrounded by text about post-baby buds and B-listers' secret sorrows, because it was on the front page of the New York Times. The article describes a federally funded program that investigated reports of unidentified aerial phenomena UAPs, the Take Me Seriously acronym that includes UFOs. And within the story, the Times embedded videos of two such UAPs. Although the article was careful not to say that unidentified meant extraterrestrial, the Department of Defense acknowledged the program, and it was easy enough for readers to draw the conclusion that these videos could show alien aircraft. The Times supplemented one of the clips with a first-hand account of a Navy pilot who was sent to investigate mysterious aircraft that appeared poof at 80,000 feet, dropped down to 20,000, and then seemed to hover before either leaving radar range or launching. Straight up. Weird, right? The discovery and federal acknowledgement of a UFO of non-earthly origin would be revelatory, and the Times scoop seemed to suggest that such a worldview-shifting scenario is at least not true. That the videos came courtesy of the Defense Department made it easier for readers to put faith in their validity. The video footage, in this case, is what captures people's imagination and is part of what made this case more compelling, says historian Greg Egajian, a recent NASA and American Historical Association Fellow in Aerospace History.
Welcome to Top Stories Today. Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news. Welcome to Top Stories Today. Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alert. Look who Mad Maxine was just caught working with to take out Trump. Lock her up. President Trump has many detractors and many people in Congress and the Senate who are willing to do anything to undermine him, even if it means doing what is not in the best interest of the United States. One of those most notable people is Representative Maxine Waters. Maxine visited the Nation of Islam convention where their leader, Louis Farrakhan, defended the suicide bombers of Palestine. In the past, Farrakhan has shown himself to be an anti-Semite who hates Jewish people and referred to Adolf Hitler as a very great man. This is just the most recent link between the Nation of Islam and the Democratic Party. The Daily Caller reported, Democratic California Representative Maxine Waters attended the Nation of Islam convention, where the hate group's leader, Louis Farrakhan, defended Palestinian suicide bombers. The convention,
Iran and Saudi Arabia need a fresh security architecture. News DW 82.2018
between Democrats and the Nation of Islam, a black nationalist group known for being viciously
Theresa
anti-Semitic.
May calls for eco-security agreement. News DW 17.2018
Farrakhan told the convention audience, gesturing to the seats behind him, our great congresswoman
Iran and
from
Saudi
this area.
Arabia need a fresh
The audience
security
cheered
architecture.
Waters'
News
name.
DW
Later in his speech,
18.2018
Farrakhan excused Palestinian suicide bombers and defended Iran for arming Palestinian terrorists. Farrakhan criticized the United States for providing Israel with planes and other weapons, which he indicated was to blame for Palestinian suicide bombers. The Palestinians have nothing to defend themselves with, so they're so exhausted and exasperated. Think about that. Strapping bombs to themselves, making themselves a weapon, Farrakhan said. And then for the world to get upset, because Iran or somebody is trying to send them some weapons. Wait a minute. If you were Jewish and you saw unarmed Jews being persecuted,
more from Germany
wouldn't you come to your brother's aid? Do you expect Muslims to see their brothers suffering like that and not come to their aid? Farrakhan is a notorious anti-Semite who has called Jews satanic
Israeli
and said
forces
that white
strike
people
Gaza
deserve to die.
after blast
The
wounds
Nation
soldiers
of
France
Islam
24.
holds that white people are inherently inferior to black people, and its leaders have criticized interracial marriage as unholy and wrong. Waters' office did not return repeated requests for comment. An interview request submitted to the Nation of Islam was not returned. Waters' appearance at the Nation of Islam convention is just the latest tie to emerge between the hate group and Democratic
Twitter's
members
reaction
of
to
the
McDonald's
Congressional
changing the
Black
Happy Meal
Caucus,
tops this week as Internet
CBC.
News Wired.
The CBC in 2005 held a meeting with Farrakhan, where then Illinois Senator Barack Obama took a smiling photo with the hate group leader. Both the photo and the
New
meeting
York
remained
prosecutors use
secret
Harvey
until
Weinstein's
last month.
studio ahead of
The
reported
man
Dale
who
News
took the photo, a journalist for
12.2018.
Nation of Islam publication, said CBC members asked him to
Carnival
suppress
parades
it in
from
order
millions
to
across
protect
Germany.
Obama's
News
political future.
2.2018.
A year after the Obama-Farrakhan photo op, Waters and several Democratic members of the CBC met Farrakhan and were seen
quest to
embracing
recreate the
him.
Olympics with
Recently
mechanical
resurfaced
required.
video shows 21 current CBC members were part of the caucus at the time of the 2005 Farrakhan meeting. THETC asked all 21 members if they would condemn
MSC
Farrakhan.
Chief Ishkinger warns
Zero
of high
of the
global
21
danger of war. News
condemned
DW
Farrakhan.
16
One of those
2.2018.
members, Illinois Representative Danny Davis, defended Farrakhan as an outstanding
Exclusive
human
Germany
being
as defense
in an
minister
interview
says
with
the
the
defense
Daily
pact
Caller.
will complement NATO France
Davis said
24.
he has a personal relationship with Farrakhan and has visited him at his house. The clearest
government is
ties between
exceptionally vulnerable to
Democrats and the
cyber
Nation of
attacks,
Islam run
security
through
expert
Minnesota
says.
Representative Keith Ellison, the deputy chair of the Democratic National Committee. Ellison worked with the Nation of Islam for 18 months organizing a Minnesota delegation to Farrakhan's 1995 Million Man March. Ellison admitted to his work with the Nation of Islam when he first ran for Congress in 2006, but assured the public that he had since cut ties with Farrakhan. But Ellison's ties with Farrakhan continued while in Congress. Ellison attended at least 3 meetings with the hate group leader since taking office, according to photos, videos and witness accounts reviewed by THETC. One of those meetings was a visit with Democratic Indiana Representative Andre Carson to Farrakhan's hotel room. Farrakhan said in December 2016 that the meeting had taken
The Russia
place
effect
recently
of
and that the
2016
three men
election
had
is
an
now
enjoyable
undeniable
time
wired.
together. Ellison's office refused to deny or confirm that the meeting took place, and instead attacked the media for reporting on it. The Palestinians and Israelis have been fighting over land since the dawn of time, and since scripture was written. Neither have a good opinion of the other, and always feel as though the other is trying to steal their land and annihilate their people. The United States has always closely aligned with Israel, and Congress has made it clear they will protect and ensure this long-standing friendship. For Maxine Waters to align herself with our virtual enemy is flabbergasting. Not to mention that Iran is one of our most serious enemies, and the Nation of Islam gave kind words of support to their republic during their speech where Maxine was present. Who exactly is she supporting, and who exactly does her loyalty belong to, because it does not appear to be the United States of America.
Israel Polish
What do you
PMS
think
Jewish
about this?
perpetrators Holocaust
Please
remark
share
outrageous
this
news
news and scroll
DW
down to comment below, and
18
don't forget to subscribe. Top Stories Today.
The FBI just can't seem to catch a break, now can they? But just like everything else in the bureaucratic red tape hellhole known as Washington, D.C., You can bet the farm that the FBI will continue to drop the ball on clear and present threats like the Florida shooter who recently took 17 lives after all eyes were on his activities.
Tibet Fire reported that Sacred Joking Monastery USDW18.2018.
The president has repeatedly raised
Romney officially
concerns
announces Senator
about
Alex Jones
current
and
and
for your
former
mind.
FBI leaders and has alleged corruption and political bias in the performance of the FBI's law enforcement and national security missions. I want to give you the opportunity today to respond to those criticisms. What is your reaction?
Well, Senator, I would say that my experience now 6 months in with the FBI has validated all my prior experiences with the FBI, which is that it
Processing search parameters. This is amazing. Check these digits. Turkey's operation in Afrin has complicated Washington's relations with two of its allies in Syria, the Kurds, and Turkey, leaving Russia more room to act as arbiter between Ankara and Syrian Kurdish groups, according to Jonas Parello-Plessner of the Hudson Institute. Iraq. German Islamic State. Bride sentenced to 6 years in prison. Bar News Bar DW Bar 18.2018. Found the juicy. What Trump still gets wrong about how Russia played Facebook Bar Wired. When I realized what this was. Special Counsel Robert Mueller released a bombshell indictment Friday, implicating 13 Russian nationals and detailing a multi-year, costly, and widespread effort to influence the 2016 presidential election. At the center of that effort were Facebook and its subsidiary Instagram, which the Russian Internet Research Agency IRA used to recruit American followers, plan real-life rallies, and spread propaganda about issues like religion, immigration, and eventually Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Facebook and Instagram were mentioned in the indictment far more times 41 than other online platforms like Twitter, YouTube, and PayPal, which were each mentioned less than 12 times. Still, Rob Goldman, Facebook's vice president of advertising, tweeted Friday that Russia's ultimate goal very definitively was not to influence the election, but to divide America by using our institutions, like free speech and social media. On one hand, Goldman is correct. Russia certainly aimed to deepen partisan divides and stir up chaos. But he is incorrect to assert that the Russians were not interested in influencing the election. That idea is at odds with both what we know about Russia's use of social media platforms and with Mueller's indictment itself. For example, Goldman overlooked the massive impact Russians had with ordinary posts, as opposed to paid ads. Most important, he also appears to misunderstand what the Russians really used the ads for. Saturday, President Trump seized on Goldman's tweets to argue that Russia didn't influence the election. The president implied that media organizations were falsely reporting that it had. Goldman maintains that the Russians were not trying to influence the election, in part, because they organized protests on both sides, which is true. Some of the Russians' propaganda efforts were designed simply to cause confusion, distrust, and sow division. However, that doesn't mean they weren't also attempting to do everything in their power to ensure Clinton wasn't elected. The IRA had dozens of full-time employees and spent over $1 million a month on its efforts, according to the indictment.